right, and welcome back to the 28th Annual City of Mobile Championships presented by Dynamic Disc and all of our other wonderful sponsors you see on the screen. We're in our final round now, and it's still myself, Dustin Mouret, joined by Christopher Downey, bringing you the commentary. We have that classic battle room between Matthew Orum and Cameron Colglazier, only a stroke apart. Gibney still up there in third, and then Colin Forehand joins us on the lead card for this round over here at Langham Municipal Park, a classic course that all of our players will be familiar with, Chris.
Yeah, you know, this is probably the main course played in Mobile and mainly the one used for our tournament on here.
Yeah, and hole one is a shorty, but it can be slightly technical, and I feel like it's a choose-your-own-adventure hole where you can pretty much do whatever you want. You can go putter up the middle between the bushes. You can go spike hyzer play, as we just saw there. There's the forehand line as well on the left side of the fairway, but I feel like the most popular options usually putter straight at it or spike hyzer.
Yeah, most of your guys are going to go the spike hyzer just because it's easier to control that angle of the disc. And, you know, you just throw it high and let it crash down towards the basket.
Exactly, and it allows you to avoid, you know, the bushes and some of the trees that could otherwise block your shot if you try to go straight at it and you're a little bit off. As we're seeing all of our players do a pretty darn good job so far of getting close to the basket and making sure that they're going to have, you know, a pretty favorable look at a birdie putt. This is definitely one of the holes you want to get. You really want to score on this front nine.
Yeah, and, you know, this first hole, you know, is a table setter for this this round, and Colin coming in a little strong on that one. Should have a 30-foot too.
Almost kind of an ace run on that throw, actually. But now, as you can see, it puts him in a really tough position. He got a little bit unfortunate on his lie, so he has to kind of straddle around this tree. And you never want this kind of putt to start off your tournament. And unfortunately, he was just way too left side.
Yeah, you know, he had to get a lot of ante on that putt for that to stick in there, and he just caught way too much left side chains.
Yeah, now Cam's lined up probably about 20, 25 footer. Oh, no. Just a little right. Definitely caught a lot of chains, but just a little off.
Yeah, and, you know, Cam's shown the first couple rounds, you know, it takes him a little bit to get his putter started.
Yeah, definitely had some big putts at South, but definitely had some struggles at Abril. And Adio is one of those guys that's really had no struggles on the putting green. I think the only hole he really missed that kind of shocked me was like one of the last holes in the front nine at South. So other than that, he's been pretty on point.
Yeah, Maddie's been dead center all weekend, and so is this guy right here. He's been having a great week with Gibney.
Yeah, Gibney, both Gibney and Matt putting that P Model S, both really favoring it and definitely in that high 80% range within Circle 1. So definitely a big part of both of those players' games, and definitely show it to you here on hole 1. We're about to move on to hole 2, which is about the most basic stock hyzer shot you're going to get.
Yeah, the only really factor on this hole is the wind, and they really don't have any wind throwing this shot, so it's just going to be a soft hyzer, and this is probably what all four are going to do.
Yeah, stable to overstable putters is usually the play. Just hang it out, let it fade in. You know, nothing too tricky about it. It's like Gibney, I mean, on that same line, I imagine all of our players will be really looking to do the same thing. He gets a little bit of juice behind it, so skips a little bit behind the basket, but still well within Circle 1.
Yeah, well in Circle 1, and he's been good for that range all week.
We're going to see the PA3 being thrown here by Mr. Cam, and again, that's looking pretty darn good.
Yeah, and that's the miss on this hole. Most people, you know, just aim for that tree over there because it's about a 50.
Yep, and we're going to see Mr. Forehand really waste no time doing the exact same thing. Again, he juiced it a little bit too, but still, again, well within Circle 1. We should be seeing a very likely star frame here.
Yeah, it should be. All these guys have really good putts. No one's really outside the circle.
Yeah, just like hole 1, this plays towards the easier end of the spectrum for this course. Again, you really want to be getting your scores in early as it gets a little bit more tricky, I guess, on the back nine for this course, but definitely like these first, like, you know, 4 or 5 holes, there's at least 3 or 4 of them that you feel like you should be birdieing.
Yeah, this front nine, you want to try to be 6 or 7 under going to that back nine. And
oh, no.
Not used to seeing that out of Colin. Good comeback, but he had a longer putt on his second putt.
Yeah, tough to not get the birdie there considering how good the drive was and considering that it was, you know, everyone really kind of doing the same thing. So we'll be seeing everyone else just kind of clean up as, of course, Matt absolutely parked it off the tee, so he'll have no problem getting a birdie. And he's staying ahead of Cam, right? He's not leaking any strokes.
Wherever you are in your disc golf journey, we've got a bag that will fit your game. Dynamic Discs. helping you become a better disc golfer.
All right, now we're here on hole 3, 350 feet. Basket's right in front of you, but waterline along the left-hand side. You'll see a lot of straight mid shots, I would imagine, or maybe you'll see a forehand over the water.
Yeah, usually, you know, the mid-range middle is the best shot, and Matt's target this hole. This, in my opinion, is probably one of the harder holes on the front nine.
Yes, absolutely. I would agree to that, as that was the M Model S, I believe, from Matteo. He's been really liking that for his mid-range game, and you can see why. It looked beautiful, and that one's drifting a little bit right, but now it's fading perfect.
Yeah, that's still going to be... Oh, it caught that last tree.
But you need to give me the comment that, you know, you have to think in your head, which is I'm in bounds, so I'm going to get the par, as this is definitely not one of those give me a birdie type holes by any stretch of the imagination. Like you said, kind of on the tougher end of this front nine.
Yeah, you have to commit to the shot. If you have any doubt whatsoever, get out and you'll lose your disc forever.
Unless our local Duds finds it. Shout out to Duds, our local squid, who does a great job getting the disc out the water. We're going to see Colin Forehand now come up and look to try to make a similar play to the rest of the field, and that one's leaking a little bit, Chris.
He had a little bit of late flip. I think he's going to be fine. It should.
It does. He was about maybe 5 or 6 feet from the water, and also a deadly Canadian goose.
Gibney just laying up. You don't have very much room behind the basket. Colin's doing this. Gave a little bit of a... Colin about 3 feet away from back in the water.
Yeah, that would have been obviously unfortunate, but he avoids that, and so he should be able to get his par. As we see Cam trying to line up a little bit of a long birdie bid. Just did not get enough behind that one. If it stays in balance, he'll be able to get his par. And this is big because this is where, you know, Matteo can start taking a step ahead, right? He's absolutely parked. He's going to get the birdie. He's going to be able to take a stroke and increase that lead against Cam here early on.
Yeah, and you can't give Matteo strokes whatsoever. Cam's kind of gotten off to a slow start here, and Matty 3 for 3. So Matt's not making it easy.
He's already gained 2 strokes in just the only 3 holes that we've played so far. Only hole that they both birdie was 2, so... Cam's got to start heating up because, you know, if Matty stays on this pace, it's going to be very hard for Cam, as Cam was the champion last year, beating out Matt by a small margin. And again, these two kind of trade out all the time in these local tournaments.
I know, right? I'd already walked to the other hole, Andy. Forgot you had to.
He's forgetting his disc.
He's such a character.
He really is.
He's already on the tee box.
So here we go, hole 4. Basically just going to see people go straight at it or maybe over the bushes with a bigger hyzer shot, but you just got to watch out for that water behind the basket.
Matteo is dialed in. Are they?
Yeah, just pin seeking on that one, knocking it. You're going to see the bigger hyzer here, and it looks good out of getting these hands. It's going to skip right up there for an easy birdie tap in. That's a beauty. See what Cam's going to do.
Guessing Cam's throwing that PA forward that likes been putting this by the basket all weekend.
Absolutely. Lands it just under the basket. Now we're going to see Forehand come up next, and it looks like it's got a little bit of power behind it, and it's fading fast. It's got to be careful, and ugh. That's the one mistake you don't want to make on this hole.
Yeah, Colin's just a little off so far the first couple holes this round, and that's a good putt to clean up that par right there.
Oh, absolutely. Get you a little bit of confidence back. Yeah, you don't get the birdie that you want, but at least you rectify the penalty as best you can by only walking away with the par.
Matteo here to start 4 for 4.
I'm such an amateur. Look at me just lost in the try to. I'm so sorry that you had to witness that at home. Oh, God. That's so bad on my part. Why couldn't that get cut out? Well, I'll have to have a talk with the editor about that one.
I thought he did a good job catching spectators in the moment.
Looked so lost. Oh Oh, man, it's everyone's just kind of cleaning up here. Now we got our first little flyover. Why don't you talk us about this one, Chris?
Yeah, hole 5 is a short shot, but it's dangerous. Throw, your mid-range or putter off this tee with a little bit of hyzer down to the green, and it's distance control because about 5 feet to the left is just water. A lot of trees protect us and roots. It's a real fast green.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you don't get the perfect tee shot, you kind of can't go for it. You kind of have to play safe and lay up, and so you really have to make sure you get that gentle fade and nestle in close, as we're going to see Matteo hung that one out way too much.
Maddie actually threw a really good shot for the other.
Yes. And this is where if you're Cam, this is your moment. Like, the door's cracked open a bit. This is where you can maybe get a stroke back if your tee shot's great, but we're going to see Gibney go up first, run from third position on the scorecard, and that looks a lot better.
Yeah, and that's straight enough that it should just kind of nestle down. He should be about 15 feet from putting back toward the basket.
Yeah, he can definitely run that one. You really want to be kind of on the sides of the basket, not going straight at it. And there is the PA3 again from Cam, and that is fading pretty solidly, but it catches a tree just before it would have probably slid up to a park position.
That's really the only trouble you run into this hole besides Colin. Looks like he's put a good move on this.
Absolutely, but it's so unfortunate.
It usually does not skip like that. Matteo just playing up, smart play here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, with the lead that he has and his position he was in, running that would have just been way too reckless, and so a good call there. We're definitely seeing Cam run it, though. He wants to try to get a stroke back, but he can't do it. Just bounce on the roots, and he's going to have to just settle for a par and kind of maintain position.
Yeah, and that was really good reaction for the ground right there. Usually everything filters to that water.
Colin hits high, and now he is going to take a bogey off of an OB.
Colin's having a hard time getting. Great putt by Gibney there.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was in the one spot where you can really run that putt and not worry about OB.
Absolutely. I mean, he played the hole to perfection. He'll be the only birdie on the card. So again, this was definitely one of those holes that a lot of people were getting in the old pin position, but it only played slightly under par in this pin position for this tournament. So we'll see everyone just kind of clean up. I'm getting a disc there for Mr. Colin with my little retriever, trying to be helpful after completely wrecking the shot on the putt in the last hole, trying to play some recovery. As we're going to see Gibney hit the box on a 305-foot hole, but it plays much longer than that because of the line you have to take.
Yeah, and Gibney really just turned that over, and I've never really seen anyone back there that he threw it to the next tee. You want to be more to the left, down towards the ditch.
Yeah, basically kind of those 3 or 4 ponds that are out there to the right. You kind of want to aim to that and then have your disc fade in, just as Matt has done. That is absolute perfection for Matteo. He's absolutely parked the hole. That's beautiful.
That's a really good shot and really good distance control, because just to the left of that.
We're going to see Cam come out lead. That's a lavender D1. He's looking to basically do the same thing that you saw Matt just do, and that's coming in pretty hot, and it's fading perfect, and he's going to be well within circle one with that.
Yeah, and that's really the play on this hole. A lot of your guys try to go a little bit deeper so that whenever you putt, you're putting away from the OB.
Now we see Colin taking a very similar line. It's looking pretty good, but catches the tree right at the last second, which would have parked him in the short pin position, but unfortunately for long pin, it leaves him a very sizable putt ahead of him.
And this is a tricky up shot for Gibney. You're throwing towards that OB. It's really just lay up short and hope that you're within 15 feet. But he left it a little short.
Yeah, definitely going to be a little bit tougher for him. And, I mean, this is a really long bid for Colin. Gave it a chance, but just a little low, a little left, so he'll have to settle for the par.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that he ran that putt. I know he's gotten off to a slow start, but that's putting towards OB.
Yeah, the water line is not too far behind the basket, but Gibney not phased by it. Puts another big putt in, as he's been doing all tournament long. Big part of his game that's been shining through when he's needed it most. And now this is, again, Cam needing to get some birdies to stay in pace with Matt, who's parked. He's done it.
Yeah, finally connected with that birdie putt. Hopefully, going to turn it up from here and give Matt a little bit of a run to finish this tournament.
Yeah, Colin recovering as best he can. It's the par out of this, I believe. And again, Matteo, absolutely parked, will get his birdie no problem as he continues to just take huge strides towards the finish line. He's already got a comfortable lead, and it's just growing. All right, now we're back. We're getting towards the end of the front nine, and we're on our massive hole 7, our first real par 4 of the course. Why don't you talk us through it, Chris?
Yeah, this hole, we have 2 trees that you have to get past, try to get to a landing zone. Most people try to throw a fairway driver or a distance driver to that hole that we just passed, or you have some of your aggressive players throw a roller to get to the hole, and then just a short approach shot up to this basket you throw into the tree, most of the time a forehand or a putter.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see the wide hyzer to the right of this first big tree, but a lot of people just go up the middle, as you're seeing here from Matteo, and that is a really solid play.
Yeah, right by that pole.
I think Ken's going to look to go a little bit more to the right of that and try to get a little bit more distance just based on what I've seen him do in the past, but he's let that a little bit low, but still perfect. I mean, it's still going to be an easy approach for him there. Yeah, Gibney up next. Taking a similar line to the previous 2 players, and that looks good as he moonwalks off, knowing that he's done a good job. He's got the CTP so far.
That's a really good shot, and that's going to make it his approach shot here.
A little low out of Colin's hand, which means that's not going to have the time to come out and fade to the left the way he was hoping, so he's going to be the shortest of the players. But again, still a chance to approach, but he's pulled that one. Still slides up, though.
Yeah, it's not as bad as he thought.
Yeah, I think he will wind up being able to collect that, as we'll see the flick approach, which is very common when you're on this side of the fairway, and that's, you know, really settled in nicely. Cam will have no problems getting the birdie. Matt looking to do something very similar. That's his A2 he's been working with.
Yeah, and this up shot, it's just a chip shot.
Yeah, I feel like the only real problem is if you go a little too high and you hit that ceiling up there. But other than that, I mean, you should be able to get it, as we see Gibney do the backhand approach instead, and looks just as good. So everyone should be getting some birdie putts in here based on the position. And there it is. Big birdie for Forehand. I know he's had a couple of struggles, had a couple of OBs, but that's nice to try to get him back on the right track.
Yeah, and hopefully that'll get him started back in the right direction.
He's a really good player. I mean, I've seen him play at several tournaments in the area. So definitely expect him to be able to perform, as he's done well enough to get the lead card in the final round.
Yeah, and Colin has been around this team for about 3 or 4 years now in the Soblue area, and he's always one of the top pros in the areas. I mean, it'd be good to see him get back on.
No, I agree with you. Always want to see good golf, as we're seeing everyone just kind of start cleaning up. And as we are, I want to give you a shout out, Chris, as you were the only player to eagle this hole, getting it in 2, which, based on the 530 feet of distance, that's really impressive with the way this hole plays out.
Yeah, I threw a roller and got all the way to the power pole, and I just this was really the only good thing that happened this round. But I was happy to get the.
I am happy you got the 2, but I am sorry that was your only highlight, as we are going to see another very simple stock hyzer shot for most of our players. It kind of plays similar to hole 2, but a bit longer, so you're going to play a bit of a faster disc, but you're basically playing the same line.
Yeah, and you want to make sure that you do the right of the basket, like right around that pine tree by the basket really fast, so you'll skip way to the left and play that hot.
Yeah, that was like an old school H1, very overstable, so just hung it out there, had it come in. I believe that's the FX2 that came out of Matteo. I'm sure that Gibney's throwing something similar. He's hung it out a little bit wider than he wanted to, though, and he's deep.
Yeah, he overcooked that one a little bit, and he knew it out of it.
Yeah, you could tell the frustration on the tee. As soon as he let it go, he knew what he had done, but might still be able to recover. As we're going to see Colin up next, trying to build some momentum, and that's a good-looking shot.
Yeah, but he ran into the problem of landing right by the basket and got that late skip away.
He also, I think, now has a decent tree obstruction. That's going to make it a little bit harder for him to do a traditional putting stance. He needs to let that one just a little low. Was on line, but not enough power.
Yeah, I think that might be the first putt I've seen Gibney miss all weekend.
This is so depressing that this is what Colin has to deal with based on his drive. It didn't look that bad, but look what he's dealt with. This is such a tough putt.
Just can't get a break.
And just the trees obstruction has really made it hard. I've yet to see him really get many putts where he could just do what he normally does. I feel like he's had to do so many straddles already.
Yeah, and usually, you know, Colin puts straight at the basket on a hard line, and usually he's dead on.
No, I wholeheartedly agree with that as we see everyone else just kind of cleaning up here as we head over to our last hole of the front nine. Matt now ahead by 3 strokes. Gibney still pretty far out of second place. So positioning-wise, it's pretty stable, but there's still that chance for Cam to creep up as we get into our long par 4 here at hole 9.
Yeah, and you know, this hole is a 2-shot hole. Most people try to get as much distance off the tee, whether it's by roller or a flex shot. And you either go through this right gap or you throw the big flex up the middle. And then once you land past these first trees, it's just a simple forehand or a hyzer approach to the basket. Most people throw a putter on the second shot, but it's a real fast green too. You got to control the speed on the up shot.
Yep, so Matteo going up first. He's looking to go for the air shot as opposed to the roller. But that is a straight laser beam.
Yeah, and he hit the perfect right gap, and that's way up there.
I mean, that's where a lot of people are getting with rollers, and he got it in the air. So that was a brilliant shot. Plays a little downhill. I think we had a bit of a tailwind here, so he was able to just kind of rip one out there. And we're going to see the D1 coming out of Cam, and he's taking a very similar line.
Yep, and he missed those 3 trees that most people
Are you serious?
off the one branch that was out there.
That probably was going like another 15 or 20 feet if he didn't hit that. That's sad, but at the same time, he still should be able to approach for a birdie, no problem.
Yeah, and Gibney's turned this one over a little bit, but he still got enough distance to be able to have a approach shot.
Yep, and now we got Colin Forehand up next trying to get something going here. That's looking pretty sharp out the hand if it comes out.
Yeah. Another tree for Colin. That was going to be perfect. Still in a good position to get the approach shot up there, but
Just so unfortunate. I feel like he's just getting so unlucky. But that is a really good bounce back approach shot where he should still wind up with a birdie despite his misfortunes.
yeah, and you know, it's tough and around whenever you dealt with some of the stuff that Colin's dealt with this round. Doing a really good job keeping. Gibney's left that shot a little short, but still should be able to catch that.
Yeah, that does seem to be the expectations. We're seeing Cam step up with that PA3, so that putter approach you were discussing. And he'll hang that out there and let it just fade right back in. And, man, that wasn't too far off from a little bit of a throw-in.
Yeah, and, you know, really good speed control because it kind of just hit and stopped. Adio is so close. Going to throw a forehand.
Yeah, and again, it's a different game plan from him. He said that he was kind of working on these forehand chip shots for approaches as opposed to the backhand, which is kind of his more natural play. And it's definitely working out for him here. So we have a bid from Colin Forehand for the birdie. A little deeper of where you want to be, but still a good spot. Nice job.
Yeah, and, you know, for that early tree hit that he had, still in position and was able to capitalize on.
Yeah, really good. Keeping his composure and trying to just let some of the misfortunes kind of go to the side and just, you know, focus up, and he gets a good birdie there. We're going to see Gibney look to come in for his birdie as well. Again, left himself a bit short, but still well within his range.
Yeah, but you can see the flag. The wind's starting to pick up a little bit this round. You have a storm coming in. Winds might pick up for the final 9 to have left.
Yeah, spoiler alert, there will be some wind. Maybe a little bit of rain, too, as we're going to see everyone else just kind of put the finish out. Cam looking to try to stay, you know, where he's been at, just kind of maintaining position behind Matt, not letting it grow. And that's a dart he puts right where he needs to.
I feel like Maddie's little chip shot here is going to be going into this final 9, being ready. March his way to another champion.
It's starting to really build up that way. Still 3 strokes ahead. It's going to take some mistakes from him and some big plays from Cam to really close that margin at this point. As we say goodbye to our front 9 here in the final rounds. And Orum continues to top the charts. Gibney continues to really be that solid 3rd place player. Cam right there nestled in the middle. Still a chance to contend, but needs to start coming alive here very soon. Colin has definitely leaked some strokes out to the field, but still playing pretty well. And again, we appreciate all of you for tuning in, and we appreciate all of our supporters and sponsors. And we will catch you on the final 9 coming out real soon.